to sit down with us because we're just a couple novices out here, a couple cigar lovers.
You guys love cigars as much as I do. Why wouldn't I want to sit down and chat?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So for those of you who don't know, Michael Herklots, he is co-founder and CEO.
No titles.
No
Co-founder.
titles? Okay, but you know what I want you to do. Please pronounce the name of your cigar company.
Ferio Tego.
Ferio Tego.
Ferio Tego.
Ferio Tego.
But I don't care what you say, as long as you buy it. You can call it whatever you want.
So do you find that people mess up and stumble on the name sometimes?
I think people think it's harder than it is because
we overthink it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like it looks,
Mm-hmm.
but sure, I guess everything gets a little complicated and a little correction, no problem.
Okay.
So,
I appreciate it. Okay.
what is the origin of it?
Mm.
Where does it come from?
It comes from my family coat of arms.
Oh, okay.
In the Herklots family coat of arms, in the center of that artwork is the image of Hercules striking the Hydra.
Love
And
that.
at the bottom of the coat of arms is a banner that says Ferio Tego. And in the
Wow.
context of the image, it means strike and defend.
Okay.
You know what? We just gonna be ourselves. We were like really. We try to be scripted sometimes, but we're really not. We just be organic. And I'm just saying that because that was the question that
Wasn't on the list?
wasn't on the
Wasn't on
list.
the
list.
Wasn't on the list.
Good.
So what I do have for you, so I did see that, you have a very fascinating, your love for music, a musician, in the cigar world, the retail, the hospitality, and now no titles, but we know what that title is. And just real in short, with all of that experience, how has that grounded you? Is there like one significant experience that kind of ground you as the leader and the man you are?
Well, listen, I was very fortunate. I had very loving parents. Grew up in a supportive, small but supportive community.
And where is that? Where were you?
Northeast Connecticut,
Okay.
a town called Danielson, Connecticut.
Okay.
I mean, there's more people who live in a building in New York City than live in the town I grew up in.
Okay.
But it was always instilled in me to be honorable, to be honest, to be, to live up to the family name. All those things that when you hear it enough times, it becomes part of your personality. I was also, I've always been pretty driven. My first memory, I always wanted to do karate, and when I started, I knew I wasn't going to stop till I got a black belt. When I got to middle school, I heard that there was a student council. I knew I wanted to run for president. I knew I wanted to be class president. I knew I wanted, I'm not very good at just being in the audience, and so clearly musically that aligned quite well with being on stage and being a performer. And I think that it's really the same things that I love about being a musician happen to be the same things I love about this. And so it's just kind of given me this unique perspective that I can apply to this industry that I think allows us to stand out.
So drummer, was that your first?
Drummer.
Was that your first instrument?
Yeah.
to play?
Yep.
Okay. When did you know? How did you?
My dad was a drummer. My uncle was a drummer. My grandfather was a drummer.
Wow.
So
Drumming's in your blood.
it was just needed to happen. My mom suggested if I really wanted to take music seriously, do something that was easier to carry. She was right, but it's all right.
Okay.
Drums was it.
Okay. So I like to get into kind of like not the dirt, but we call it like clearing the smoke type of thing, like some tea.
Uh-huh.
So who have you jammed with the most? What stands out? Which session stands out the most that you actually had that you jammed with?
Well, there's lots of unique moments.
Mhm.
Because if I think my first inclination would be to tell you the most impressive moments I've ever had, the biggest shows,
Okay.
the most famous musicians. But it's evolved as I get older and I play less. When Avo Uvizian turned 80, I hired a bass player, I played drums, and Avo played piano, and we played. Now, that was not the greatest gig I ever played,
Yeah.
but it was a meaningful gig.
Okay.
Just last month, we were at an event in Pennsylvania, and Rocky Patel was there, Nick Perdomo was there, lots of vendors were
Yeah.
there. But Nick and Rocky are both drummers.
Okay.
And so randomly, Rocky was the sponsor of that party, so someone's like, Rocky, get up and play. So Rocky played, then he called up Nick Perdomo to play, and then they started screaming for me, and then I went and played. So like that was really cool and meaningful, But I will say, I just did an event last year in Kansas City at Diebel's, And Kansas
I
City,
saw that you posted it on your
man,
Instagram. Yeah.
Kansas City's the home of the Jazz Museum, and so we did a pairing with Ferio Tego and jazz,
Okay.
and we talked about different styles of jazz, and then I talked about the different styles of Ferio Tego, and a friend of mine who's a very famous jazz drummer was in the audience because he moved to Kansas City, and so it was cool to talk about cigars and music with him in the room. Just very full circle moment,
Yeah.
you know.
Okay. So, and if you could play with anyone, past or not here, who would that be? What would be your dream session?
Miles,
Yeah.
Miles,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. My man. Okay, babe, you got a question? I know you have 3.
When you're attending events like this across the country, what is it about them that keeps you coming back?
I gotta pay my bills. No.
No, it's more to
That's
it.
keeping it real.
You know, events like this
Okay.
are like, they're like concerts. And as a musician, there's a lot of independent work you have to do. There's a lot of practicing and there's a lot of rehearsing. There's recording. There's all this stuff that you do to create the work. But then you want to go play the work. And when you play live and you vibe with your audience and you vibe with your musicians on stage, there's something about that you just can't recreate.
Yeah.
Taking a cigar out of a box and smoking in a factory or doing whatever. And so there is no greater thrill as an artist than playing live, and this is how we play live in the cigar business.
What do you enjoy most about connecting face to face with cigar smokers?
Because you feel the love. You know, like even our interactions have been meaningful because I can genuinely see your enthusiasm. But I can't feel it the way sitting together is. And so being able to connect on that next level, it's intimate. You know what I mean? I don't mean that in an inappropriate way. I just mean it in the most heartfelt way.
Yeah.
There's something very intimate and special, a lot like playing music together, where when you're done, that moment's over. Like this is one and done. You know, just like our time right now. We can spend another hour together, but it's not the same hour. And so there's something really meaningful about the analog world and spending time together, especially when we live in a digital world.
Yes.
And I think people, some people forget how important this is, and some people, unfortunately, have never experienced how important this is, and it's really important to do.
Okay, so talking about these, in-person events and people, you engaging with people. We're at the Harvest Inn, the one main, and before
One Main.
One Main. And before we went live, or not live, but before we started recording, you actually shared that you were like one of the first.
We were the first.
Wow.
When I was working with Nat Sherman, I was doing a lot of work with a chef named Charlie Palmer, very famous chef. And when this property was taken over and basically reestablished by Rick and his partner, Andrew, they brought in Charlie at the time as a restaurant partner.
Okay.
And I was doing a lot of work with Charlie, doing cigar stuff around the country. And so Charlie said, hey, this is another idea. These guys are big cigar guys. Let's do some cigar programming. So I want to say that was around 2016. Charlie ultimately left the project, but we had started to establish these cigar programs. But even early on, what I appreciate so much about the Harvest Inn is cigars are part of their business model. You can smoke everywhere. You're encouraged to smoke everywhere. Not in the guest room, but if you are outdoors and there's a chair, you can smoke. And there's no, please go to this corner. You can smoke anywhere you want. There's cigars for sale in the lobby. It's so encouraged and celebrated as culture, and I just think it's such a special place. So this is now like 11 years. They do them from March to November. For the first year or two, I was doing it just with the Nat Sherman brands, and then that's enough. You know, that's enough. So then we opened it up, and but I still hold 2. So usually May or June.
Are you the only one that holds 2
Yes.
on the calendar? And you've been doing 2 from day one?
I was doing all of them from day one,
Oh,
but
wow.
then two for
Wow.
since after the 2
Yeah,
years.
listen, see, I
I think after 2 years or so.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So, other than this, you can hear in the area, I heard that you're right now, but I hear you going a soft flyer. You're going to be somewhere else tomorrow?
Yeah, Morgan Hill tomorrow.
Oh, great people, Chad.
Yeah, I'm excited,
Yeah.
man. I'm
So,
excited.
what do you think about the Bay Area cigar culture? And what do you like about it, and what stands out to you about the Bay Area cigar culture?
Bay Area is different than California at large. California,
Man,
and
so true.
I think maybe
So true.
what makes the Bay Area special is probably what makes the cigar culture special.
Yeah.
When you get into like really metropolitan areas, same as New York and other places, there's always some performative nature to how you smoke and consume, because you are thinking about what other people are thinking. Here, there's much less of that,
Yes.
so it's much more about sharing, asking, well, what do you have? And tell me about it. I never heard of that. And that's perfectly fine. Whereas in some of these bigger cities or more metropolitan spots where people, they're only smoking what they know and that's the wrong decision.
Yeah. Sounds like you have definitely been in the Bay several times.
Let me tell you,
'Cause
man.
you hit the Bay on the head, man. You really did. The Bay is its own vibe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that. I mean, I like it all. I
Yeah.
like all the vibes,
Yeah.
But there's something special about the Bay. There's something very special about Napa,
Yes.
in this area.
Yes.
So, I don't know that there is a real business case
Yeah.
to defend me coming to Napa twice a year,
Uh-huh.
but there is definitely an emotional and mental wellness case for me coming here twice a year.
It's healing. Ready, babe?
Throughout your career, you have built a reputation for hospitality and relationships. What is one quality that is essential for building lasting relationships?
Building lasting relationships. Relationships are unique in hospitality because you probably have to make them feel more special than they actually are. And that's not to diminish the meaning of that relationship, but in hospitality, when you are interacting with thousands of people that are different people, you want them to feel like number one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not meant to be fake, it's meant to be genuine, even though the reality is there are 1,000 number ones. And so it's not an easy thing to do to turn it on with every person. But for those who can, those are the places that win, whether it's Disney World, whether it's a hotel, whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a cigar shop or a cigar lounge or an event like this, or even a brand. When you can make someone feel seen and remembered and involved and appreciated, that is hospitality. And brands, I think, need to create some level of hospitality and inclusiveness and welcomingness to the brand. It has to feel accessible, not off-putting, but like there is an invitation to come along. And so I think if you can strike that balance of not overdoing it, but just being authentically and genuinely grateful.
She's smiling because those are my two favorite words. But whenever we do anything on Instagram, I always make sure I let people know I'm just being my authentic self.
And that's the easiest.
Yeah.
People get paid a lot of money to create something in the absence of authenticity.
Yeah. So speaking about creating, it's like a perfect segue. What qualities are non-negotiable for you when it comes to creating or evaluating?
Creating for me has to balance strength and flavor and body.
Strength, body,
and the fourth is texture,
okay.
Or meaning behavior. So when I taste or evaluate, the first thing I evaluate is the condition of my palate. And if I take a puff and my mouth is dry, that cigar is done. So it has to be conditionally balanced, behaviorally balanced. Then I push body. I want the body to be as round and rich as the blend is capable of producing. Then I want to create flavors that are broad. And then I want to create a story that is dynamic. So it always ends differently than where it begins. Those are kind of the four buckets that I create.
So how do you define or distinguish between a great stick and a memorable stick?
I don't distinguish. It distinguishes. You know what I mean? Like that's not for me. When I'm creating, I hope they're all memorable.
Yes.
And part of being memorable means that you have to stand out in a unique way that is unlike the other things you love. And I say this a lot, but our industry has evolved out of that and into a cover band model. And everyone is trying to make the same 12 blend experiences, and I'm just trying to get you to like my version
Yes.
better
Yes.
than the one that you already love,
Yes.
which is a really hard thing to do. For me, whether it's musically or whether it's cigars, I studied great drummers and I practiced playing like them to develop a sound that was mine, not to sound like Roy Haynes or Billy Cobham. I want to sound like Michael
Phil Collins. I
Herklots.
didn't hear Phil Collins.
Phil Collins. What?
Okay.
I'm a jazz guy.
That's right. That's right.
But same, right?
Yeah.
It's the same approach. And so from a cigar perspective, I taste these other cigars and I recognize them as great. And I see how popular they are. And so the artist in me immediately gets envious and says, I can do that better.
Okay.
But you already love it. And I can't do that better. You know what I mean? Like, how do I change your heart and mind to fall out of love with the thing that you fell in love with? That's not an easy thing to do. So instead, I have to present to you something completely different that you haven't experienced that gives you the moment of falling in love.
Okay.
So I want to ask you this. Do you,
Make sure, because I'm not sure they're picking you up. Because you're so sexy in your tone, baby.
do you smoke every cigar that you make? You know what I mean? Like, do you sample it? make
Oh, yeah.
sure that it has
I taste
good
100%. If it says Ferio Tego on it, it is Michael Herklots approved. And more than that, every time we do a new production, we're also testing that to make sure that when we go back into the studio and re-record that blend, it's got to be the same. And that's a lot of work that, frankly, brands don't do because they're so focused on new and limited edition and this latest drop and this new shiny thing. And that's the culture we live in. But that's not how Ferio Tego is going to grow. If you love Metropolitan Connecticut,
This is my first time smoking it.
so this is so think about this. This is a 30-year-old brand and blend experience.
Yeah, it's from the Nate Sherman, right now.
But when you taste it right now, that does not taste like a dusty 30-year-old idea. It tastes like a 2026 real world, maybe nostalgic in flavor, but it's got body, it has presence, it stands up, and that's because we're doing our job.
Yeah. And the price did not.
Bro.
I'm going to be honest with you. There's a lot of cigars that cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
That are not memorable cigars.
Of course.
There's a lot of cigars that are affordable. Like this one.
But I want to do both.
Yeah.
Like I believe, look, some cigars are more expensive than others.
Exactly.
Our flagship, all the Ferio Tego line, like so without taxes, that comes in at around 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, depending on the size.
Yeah.
When you get all the way up to Ferio, we're into like 17 to 25. Now that's not inexpensive, right?
No.
Whether you're burning at $12 or you're burning $30, it's a lot of bread, man.
Yeah.
But I believe that cigar smokes like cigars that are twice the price, and this is more memorable and more impressive. And when you move up the portfolio, when you get to Elegancia and Generoso and Suma, even though they are pushing that $20 realm, we have the receipts to demonstrate why. And when you take a puff and experience that first puff of the blend, we are punching so far over our weight. And value, everyone wants to get their money's worth and more.
Yes.
It's important, So even with the things that are more expensive, we still want our fans to get more than what they pay for.
Gotcha. I think you got one more question. It's a good one, so make sure. I don't think they have seen you at all. There you go. You gotta get in and look. Now you're in there. This is a good one.
I'm trying to give him his space. Seeing
I don't
more
need space.
diversity in the cigar community, including women, and more women than in the past. What excites you most about this trend in cigar culture?
Well, I'll be honest.
Please.
I don't think there is more diversity. I think we see it more thanks to stuff like this. But
That is so.
as someone who is
wow.
moved around this country for 20 years, our industry is profoundly diverse. Always, it's probably of all the hobbies, I think it's perhaps the most diverse because it's the most approachable. It's not like sports where you might get classed out based on your seat or your box, right? It's not like bars or restaurants where a 5-star versus 2-star versus style then kind of either culturally or economically put us in buckets. But when you walk into a cigar shop or a cigar lounge, whether you're buying $6 or $60, you're all in the same room and you love the same thing. And you love the same thing that is misunderstood by most of the people that you love, that it becomes important. And so, I mean, when the Atlanta shops have always been full, and those Atlanta shops have been diehard cigar shops that happen to be culturally leaning, that look a lot more like you, and a lot like me.
Texas is another
one, depending where. Because Houston is different than Dallas, and San Antonio is different than Houston. But what I love, and same with women. I've been in the business since 1999. Every event I've ever done, there have been women. I think on the female side, you see it more because there's just so much more encouragement to be part. Like, we all want to be part of something and brag about something. I think the female consumers for many years didn't brag about it because it wasn't popular in lady life.
For me, the ladylike part, I never thought about smoking because it wasn't ladylike. I didn't want people to see me, doing something that. And my mom smoked, and I thought that was smoking was nasty. But experiencing the culture before I experienced the cigar made it different.
Yes, you bet.
And I have no problem allowing people to see me do my thing.
Right.
So.
And it's also understood more. And social media has a lot of ups and a lot of downs, but the benefit of being able to create these communities of support that can skew favorable and negative, right? Let's face it. But I think cigars, by and large, have really encouraged favorable communities and encouraging communities. We're one of the few hobbies, and especially online cultures, that is not rage bait. It's still driven by love and passion and optimism and all the good stuff, not the bad stuff.
Okay. Gonna wrap it up real quick.
Yeah.
2 questions.
But I will say, if you look at the cigar industry at large, there have always been more women than men in the cigar industry, and they do the most important jobs: the sorting, the rolling, some of the packaging. Even if you get into some of the back office work, all female, accounting, all of it is female. So, when I think of the cigar industry and everyone's like, we're so excited that, there's more women, I'm like, man, go knock on a factory door. It's been women for a long time.
That really puts it in perspective, because you're right. Social media has brought things to the public's attention in a larger scale for society.
Yeah.
But better than I would know, or my wife would know. So, anything on the horizon? I know no trade secrets or anything, but anything that's on the horizon for your brand or you even personally?
We have a cool project coming up. Okay. And it actually, when people go back and watch this, once the project is released, it's going to make a lot of sense.
Oh, okay. Make me feel important. Thank you.
Oh, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. We haven't talked about it, so it's going to be real cool.
Okay.
But we're 4.5 years in the market. That's not a lot of time. I mean, there's not a thing I buy that is a brand I love that's less than 4 years old. I just can't think of one. And so that's just the reality of being a startup. And so what you can expect from us is that we're just going to keep playing our hits. We'll find opportunities.
Back to the music. I saw that.
We'll find opportunities to do new stuff and put something new out when it's important. In fact, tonight at the dinner, we're doing 2 cigars that we've never done at a dinner.
Nice.
One is the 30th anniversary of Metropolitan, which we just released this year, and the second is a event-only limited edition.
Okay.
So those were songs that were worth writing.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They honor something. It's not just a business case to sell another 1,000 boxes. I'd rather sell another 500 of those. But tonight we're going to celebrate with the Metropolitan and the Celebration.
Very nice. So this is a question I like to ask everyone. I will say that you are the first person we talk to, at a higher stature. So thank you for that. Even though you say don't worry about titles and things, but so that question is, if you could smoke one-on-one with anyone, present or past, who would that be, and what would be the one question you would ask them? Who would you smoke with? Would it be Miles as well?
He wasn't a cigar guy,
Oh, okay.
and he was miserable from what I hear at the end, so maybe not. Present and past. Let me think.
You know what you signed up for, huh?
Present. Present. I would like to just smoke with anyone I've not smoked with. I've met enough celebrities and spent time with them. Sometimes they're interesting, oftentimes they're not. And we're often disappointed by the people we admire when you get to spend time with them.
That's true.
But even just being able to sit down with you guys and do this, like, this is the magic of the business. And so just if I could walk into whatever shop you hang out at and sit down and meet someone new, that's the person I want to smoke with present. Past, my buddy Jimmy died about 4 years ago. I wouldn't mind one more cigar with him.
Oh, cigar experience. So we know that you are in the industry, but what was your first cigar experience like as a smoker?
I was going to music school in Boston.
Okay.
A lifelong childhood asthmatic with no money, and I'm walking through Boston, and my roommate was like, "Oh, it's a cigar bar. Let's go in." I'm like, "Dude, I got asthma. I got no bread. Like, what are we talking about?"
Yeah.
But we walked in, and I don't have to explain it to you or anyone else who's watching. You know that when you walk in and it clicks, it's like, I don't know what this is, but I'm gonna find out what this is, and I'm gonna go all in. And being artistic, we're crazy.
Yeah.
So that was 1998. I quickly realized I loved cigars. The first one I had was an Ashton Classic. Realized I loved it, and also realized I could not afford it as an 18-year-old college student pursuing music. So I got a job in retail in a shopping mall in Boston in May of 1999, and that was 27 years ago last month, and I've made a living in the cigar business since.
Amazing. Well, I can't thank you enough.
Oh man, thank you.
It was like shooting in the dark.
Great.
By asking you would do this with us.
You made it easy, man. You came here. It's way easy.
Appreciate it.
Likewise.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Anything else that you would like to
No,
say?
man, listen, just keep smoking cigars.
Yes, sir.
Smoke brands that you love. Don't worry about smoking what you think you want people to see you smoking.
Yes.
Don't worry about that. You find the brands that you like, you find the people that you like, the stories that you like, and amplify them and share the stories with someone else. That's better than any advertisement, any blog post, any article. When you authentically endorse the things that you love, that makes brands like mine stay for the long term.